Hello friends, I am Nisha Sharma, Associate Professor, Department of English. The topic under discussion today is a line-by-line analysis of Nissim Ezekiel's poem Enterprise. The poem Enterprise, written by Nissim Ezekiel, describes a metaphorical journey of some enthusiastic people, of which the poet is also a part. This journey can also be compared to the human condition on earth, which is full of difficulties and failures. This pilgrimage is set to achieve a specific goal. Here we go for a detailed line by line explanation and a commentary on the poem. It started as a pilgrimage, exalting minds and making all the burdens light. At the very beginning of the poem Enterprise, the poet speaker confirms that the journey, the main theme of the poem, started as a pilgrimage. Having said that, it had a noble aim and a lofty goal. All the members of the group were excited at the prospect of going out to a pilgrimage. The thought of a holy expedition elevated their minds and made all the burdens light. By the very nature of our minds, when people are enthusiastic, the burden seems to be lighter. That is why nothing could pose a challenge before them at that moment. This stage can be compared to the early youth of man, in which he is quite innocent and unaware of the problems and failures of adulthood. The second stage explored but did not test the call. The sun beat down to match our days. So the poet has divided the journey into stages. The second stage was somewhat different from the first one, since they faced the hostility of nature on the way. The sun, symbolic of the hostility of nature, was radiating its scorching heat on them as if to match their spirit in intensity. Thus, the second stage gave them some tough moments, but that was not enough to test their keenness. In short, though nature tried to present some obstacles, it hardly succeeded to unnerve them or pose a real threat. The innocence of first stage withers away in this stage. One more thing to note here is that for the first time in the poem, the poet speaker has used a first person pronoun our to indicate that he was a part of the group. We stood it very well, I thought, observed and put down copious notes on things the peasant sold and bought, the way of serpents and of gods, three cities where a sage had taught. The speaker thought that everything went well so far, especially they could withstand the outrage of the sun. They also kept themselves busy observing and taking lengthy notes on various things the farmers were selling and buying and on the ways of snakes and gods. They even observed the three cities where they saw a hermit teach his lessons. In this stanza of the poem Enterprise, the poet has satirically described what they were doing there during their journey. He actually indicates to how people gets distracted from the main mission. They were wasting their time and energy taking notes on the humdrum aspects of life and on curiosities which were certainly not their aim. Moreover, their concern was with rather unimportant things. They observed and took note on the cities without concerning themselves with what the sage had taught or what his message was. But when the differences arose on how to cross a desert patch, we lost a friend whose stylish prose was quite the best of all our batch. There came a stage when differences arose in their opinion. Some members didn't agree with the others on crossing a patch of desert on the way. As a result, the best prose writer and intellectual person among them parted from the group. Thus, the shadow of disagreement fell onto their enterprise and continues to grow. The ego of thus people weakens the integrity of pilgrimage. So we see that a holy journey for a noble cause no longer holds its integrity. People are becoming egotistic and concentrating on trivial matters. Their main concern now is the way, not the ultimate aim. Even the seemingly intellectual did not bother to reconcile the differences and hold the members together. Ironically, he sought the easier way to part from the two. A shadow falls on us and goes. After one friend left the group, a shadow of friction and conflict befalls the enterprise and continues to grow. They now lack the zeal with which they started. Another phase was reached when we were twice attacked and lost our way. In the next phase of the journey, some local or external forces attacked them on the way. As a result, they lost their way. So it seems that in the quest to save themselves, they didn't even bother that they were losing the way. These are also symbolic. We human beings often face the opposition of fellow men on our way of life. Sometimes we lose our way by the hostility or misguidance of others. Moreover, when we find ourselves in trouble, we forget the larger perspective and run away to save our narrow interest. A section claimed its liberty to leave the group. A section of the group wanted to free themselves and create a new group. Possibly they were unhappy with the leadership, so the disagreement continues. I tried to pray. Our leader said he smelled the sea. In that situation, the narrator had nothing to do but pray. He prayed that God might solve the issue. The group leader was helpless and tried to assure others by saying that they were near the sea and so the destination was at hand. We noticed nothing as we went, a straggling crowd of little hope. But it was a false hope from the leader. As they progressed, they could see nothing. They now looked like a group of aimless and hopeless wanderers. However, soon they become aware of the fact that it was a false hope from the leader as they find nothing on their way. They were now a group of aimless and hopeless wanderers. Their noble aspirations wither away, ignoring what the thunder meant. Deprived of common needs like soap, some were broken, some merely bent. They were too tired to understand what thunder meant. They were in such dire condition that they were deprived of common needs like soap. Ignoring the thunder may also mean that they ignored what their inner self suggested. They didn't have any idea of what was happening around. Seemingly, they were exhausted and lost their faith by now. The entire enterprise was reduced to a motiveless, ritualistic exercise. They were physically drained too. Some members were not able to walk anymore, and the others just bent down with pain. They could not hear the thundering of inner self, nor could they interpret what it meant. They were now without even petty things like soup. Being totally exhausted, some of them could not walk anymore, while some bent down with pain. Thus, the enthusiasm fades away and their burden is unbearable. When finally we reached the place, we hardly knew why we were there. After facing a lot of difficulties, when they reached the destination, they wondered why they had been there. They did not find the journey meaningful at all. The trip had darkened every phase. Our deeds were neither great nor rare. Home is where we have to gather grace. In this stanza, the pilgrims, exhausted, tired, and frustrated, finally reach their destination or goal. However, there is no joy of fulfillment on their faces. Instead, they wonder why they undertook the journey as it now seems to be meaningless and unworthy of the undertaking. The hardships of the journey has darkened everyone's face, but they felt that it was not worth the effort. After reaching there, they found out that there was nothing extraordinary. Moreover, many other groups had reached there earlier, so it was not a rare achievement either. That is why the narrator concluded that they should have stayed at home and tried to gather love and respect of others. Doing good to the mankind makes more sense, and it's a better way than going to a pilgrimage to gather God's grace. For the poet, living at home with inner satisfaction is the biggest achievement of all. Hence, the journey that started with enthusiasm ends with grief, despair, regret, and hopelessness. The poet has been successful in conveying his message through the narrative point, but as already told, there is a great deal of investigation on what this home may indicate and gather grace may mean, and that is the beauty of the poem Enterprise. And in the last line of the poem, it becomes clear to the readers that this poem isn't about a mere journey. It is the story of our life. After reading the poem, readers can understand that chasing the dream is more meaningful than attaining the result. Our dream is not unique, but the path we follow and the experiences we get are unique. In this way, the poet presents his idea of an enterprise to the readers. Thank you.